Oh boy, guys, I got something for you today. Is it possible to find a quality backpacking / hammock tarp for under 20 bucks? Let's find out. Alright guys, so can we get a quality hammock for under $20? Now this bad boy right here is $19.95 off Amazon. You can find the link down below in the description box. But yes, it actually is 20 bucks. So let's see what you get with it. Inside your stuff sack, you're going to have your actual instructions, your actual tarp, a bag of stakes. These are 16 of the old heavy steel stakes, and you also have 2 really cheap guidelines. Can't expect much different than that, guys. Guidelines, cheapy stakes. Okay, so I know you're all going to want to know the weight. It is all in, everything you just saw is 1 pound, 11.5 ounces. Alright? Now, on the diagonal, this thing is 12 feet long. So plenty big enough to cover your hammock even if you have an 11-footer like me. It's not going to give you maximum coverage, especially being on diagonal, but it will work. Then you take it and it's 8x9 standard, which is fine for like a ground setup. You know, if you're going to convert it out to winter camp under it on the tarp on the ground. Now, one very important thing about the River County products, guys, you got to waterproof them. That's the price you pay. All right, whether you have their Trekker tent, whatever, take the time to spray them down with waterproof, or you can get a whole can of it that we do our tents every year with and end up being able to do almost 3 tents with it for silicone spray for like $7. So yes, you will have to waterproof it. You will have to make that effort. Now, if you're only out in fair weather pretty much, maybe it doesn't matter. You know, or you want to take the chance. If it's not a big pouring storm, I don't figure you're going to have a lot of problems. But let's take a moment, get it all stretched out, put it up, and we'll talk about it more. Now, as you can see, I just threw this up haphazardly. I'm not trying to make it beautiful or tight because you guys ain't worried about that. You just want the basic information about it and to get an actual look at it. You're not worried about how pretty it looks stretched out nice and taut. Now, this is Stop Nylon. It's supposedly coated, but like I said, take the time, go buy the silicone spray, spray it down to seal it up. If you have any of their products from River Country Products, take the moment and do it. Now, that said, that also has UV blocker in that silicone spray. That'll make these fabrics last a lot longer. Now, if you have an 11-foot hammock, this is literally minimal coverage because of the way it's offset on the diagonal and because of the fact that it's 12 foot long. You're only going to have just a little bit of overhang. You get into a good storm with some serious wind, your 11-foot hammock's probably going to get wet. Now that said, there are other options for using this tarp, like a ground cover. This would be great for a ground cover, something to sit under if the weather's bad and you want to take a lunch on the trail. Or if you're out winter camping, because this has grommets through and tie-out points, it has lots of configuration options you can try out. While maybe not optimal for an 11-foot hammock like my Trailheads one, if you're in something shorter like an Eno or a Covacure, These hammocks are made in 8, 9, 10 foot lengths. That's going to give you more coverage. And if you bring it down pretty tight to your bug net or down to your actual hammock ridgeline, guys, you're going to have plenty of coverage in 3-season use. I don't know about winter, snow, that's a whole nother thing. But as far as these shorter style hammocks, this is a good option, especially if you're just starting out and trying to get in on a budget. Maybe you don't know if you like hammock camping. This is a great tarp just to give you something over your head so you can get out there a few nights in it. And at the price point, you can't go wrong, because if nothing else, it is excellent to use for either a ground footprint, or maybe you're going to just use it like this just to set up over top of your head so that you have some place to get under in case it rains at camp. I really can't find a whole lot of problems with it at $20. If you accept that what it is for $20, I'm sure that you'll be very happy with your purchase. Now, if we take a closer look here, you can see they have the areas where the tie outs are multi-layer reinforced and double stitched in, riveted, and they've got the tie out points. All right. Everything on here is built heavier weight, so this is not ultra light. It's not. But honestly, if you change out the stakes, you know, you could get this thing down some to maybe 1.5 pounds, which isn't bad for your standard hammock tarp. If you're not doing giant miles, car camping, maybe you just want to take this out in your hunting season. You know, a lot of good options here. A lot of things we can work with. Now, on the diagonal, it does have the 12. The only thing I don't like about it, and it's not really its fault because the dimensions are the dimensions, but I like to be able to turn mine more like a doghouse, and this just doesn't have the length to cover a hammock doghouse style. It doesn't. Even an Eno would be too short. So at that point, you know, that's a downfall for this. Not something I can't deal with. Being on diagonal is not that big a deal when you're honest about it. Now, I do think the construction is decent. You don't have a lot of frays. You know, the stitching isn't bad. It's a very commercialized tarp. You know, you look up in the underneath, it's pretty decent. Now, like I said, you gotta expect what it is for the price you pay. 20 bucks, I mean, come on guys. If you're going to get into it, hammocking is expensive. I don't care what they say. If you want quality gear, you're gonna pay. Oh yes, you're gonna pay. Under quilts, over quilts, quality 11-foot hammock that you can lay correctly in. You know, all your hardware, your gear. There's no reason to believe that you're not going to get into an entry level between $350 and $500 for a true cottage vendor quality hammock. Not all of us have that amount of money to spend to try something out to see if we even like it. And I'll say that because there are people that have back issues and other problems that makes it so they cannot sleep in hammocks. So that said, I'm building a whole series of videos about putting together a low cost but yet quality setup just so you can go out and try it for a few nights. You know, even if you don't stay in this cheap setup that I'm building a series on, you should be able to take that and hand that to the next person when you upgrade your system, or when you decide, hey, I'm not for hammock camping. Maybe you give this to your kids, maybe you give it to your wife. Let other people try it. Go out on the trail with you. Gives a great reason to bring other people along and let them try hammock camping. So this is piece 1 of that series. A budget tarp, 20 bucks. You really can't go wrong. I have 2 of these because they come in green and blue. So we bought 1 of each. Going to be working on a whole series, including the COVID cure and some underquilts and some other things, to put together a budget system. So make sure you're watching for those videos. Take the time to check out this product. It's definitely worth it, and I'll be doing a 6-month review once we put some serious trail miles on it and some more overnights and stuff under it. Be it whether we're sleeping on the ground or in a hammock. We want all this information. You guys know how we do. We beat the gear up, we take it out, get it into the worst of situations, and then we come back to you in 3 to 6, sometimes a year, and then we talk about the quality of the product, how it's held up, show you it, so you get an honest feedback review. So this is our initial. Be looking for 6-month review probably, and we will see you guys in the next one.